Hello everyone, I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. My name is Steve. You'll find content here for the Commodore 64, Atari computer, and other things. This video I'm going to show you an ebook that I've been promising people for probably too long now. I've actually mentioned this back several years ago, and I really began at that time to start working on something, but I found out how hard and difficult it was going to be. But I finally decided that it might be a worthwhile thing. People might want to purchase this ebook. It's going to be a kind of a comprehensive guide to a semi-language design. It's not going to be, I wouldn't say it would be for the beginners, because you would probably want to know something. I'll try to get you up to date as much as I can for those who are kind of familiar with BASIC, and kind of move you on to a semi-language at that point. So I just wanted to kind of show you some of the chapters and stuff. Now keep in mind it's subject to change, so as I'm writing this and kind of figuring this out how it goes, since I like to critique my own writing style, I'm going to be more likely changing it as I go along. Of course, once the final print is out, then that's going to be basically it. So I kind of broke this down, and just to show you, and this is the picture of the game we're going to be talking about later in the ebook. It's going to be talking about my introduction, basically. Memory, how memory works on the Commodore 64, how the graphics work, and explain the different graphics modes. Animation, how to animate your sprites and stuff. I guess we'll use basic examples there. I put animating sprites. Anyway, joystick. Then we're going to have basic to semi-language. This will be a really good section for people who want to make the jump from basic to semi-language. You want to pay attention to this section. I'll try to make it more detailed for people to understand how things convert over and stuff like that. But it basically shows you how memory works in your computer. And this one is getting started with semi-language. So here we kind of get into the memory addressing and stuff like that, and how to set up addressing, and kind of explain the bits and bytes of things, basically. This is understanding accumulator commands. Start with some of the simple ones like load the accumulator, store the accumulator, pull from the accumulator. And then we have loops and branches, and to try to take the swing from basic or next to the assembly language, which these are the ones done in assembly language. And then I put a section here called math to teach you how the computer uses math. Now I almost didn't add this, but I figured it's going to be necessary, because if you're going and you have a room, let's say you have like 24 rooms or 32 rooms in your game. Each time you're going down the screen, you're going to be going 8 plus 8. So you're going to need to add the carry with 8. Now if you're going up, you're going to need to subtract 8. So I figured it'd be best to probably stick that in there, because there's no other way to do it otherwise. And the reason why I say that is because when I was reading a book here, I'll show you the one I originally started reading years ago, Machine Language for Beginners. This book at the time was very complicated for me to understand and try to follow through. Understanding all about the math, and a lot of times, I'll be honest with you, it bored me, because they focused too much on the math, and I wanted to get to the nitty-gritty stuff, like how do I design my own games? How do I do this? How do I design my own utility? Or whatever. So they kind of they break it down section by section, which is incredible. So you'll learn a ton of stuff, but for the beginner, I do not recommend a book like that. I think that it could have been better titled. That's kind of a catchy title, Machine Language for Beginners. I don't consider that a beginner book. It's actually more aimed at the person that has more of a grasp on the semi-language, I would say. Okay, so the next part here is about bytes. Teach you what a byte is, and I kind of wanted to break that down for people. The famous registers, 251, 254. Jumping in memory, how to use go-tos to jump around in memory, or jump the subroutine, which means you'll return. It basically works like a go sub. I should have put that in here somewhere, but anyway. Secrets to game design when it kind of get toward the end. How to set up really good, how to check your room when you're walking into them using flags for various things. There can be so much to this section, so this section is probably pretty large. And I'll have chapter 13 with where to go from here, to kind of figure out people who want to come up with their own ideals for once you get really good in the semi language. There's so many things you could do, like you can start using displayless interrupts and multitasking. There's just so many things you could do with it. You can have music running in the background, and it just goes on and on, especially when you get with rasters and stuff like that, which I do know rasters, but I didn't want to make this too complicated for people. So maybe we'll save that for another book. But anyways, hopefully this will get people started. I kind of started writing my introduction here I started a chapter on memory here. And that's about basically all I got so far. I just thought I would show you guys that to kind of prepare you for what's to come. I know many of you have been asking me for an ebook for a while, and I know I've been so caught up with everything, and I want to say I'd like to commit to getting this done, but I can't promise anything depending on how busy it is. And you guys keep me motivated, keep me with comments going so that I do finish this ebook. I'm very big on motivation. If I don't hear a lot of motivation though, I might even trash it. Sometimes I admit I can get lazy that way because, like I said, this is pretty old technology, but for me it's second nature to anything. It's like knowing the back of your hand, basically. For me, I get bored with it. So anyways, it was really hard to produce the first videos, not to ramble too much here, but anyway. So let me know if you're interested in that and what your comments and feedback is on it. Yeah, so I think this is going to be a great adventure. Anybody who's interested, ebooks, there is money to be made on the internet once you really start getting a good writing style. Now, many of you might know I used to be a software developer. My last position I was a mobile developer, and I really learned how to do technical writing and stuff like that. And I was told I would make a great technical writer. Though I didn't feel like switching that career and starting all over, I knew I could put it to use now for something. It may not be writing in .NET, but it's going to be, Commodore 64 and basic stuff. It's very easy to me. I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'm not going to brag or anything, but I've learned so much about it, it bores me. So anyway, just let me know. Appreciate your feedback, and you're welcome to subscribe to this channel if you want. You're going to see a lot of good content coming on this channel, hopefully in times to come. Yeah, we'll see. Thanks for watching, guys.